Begin my presentation with an introduction. My name is Nura Ashikin binti Samsir. My matrix number is 2106760314, and in this video presentation, my group will going to present the case study for inventory management. This is my group members. This is the table of content that consists question 1 until question 4. The summary of the case: Three Spoon Market is upscale tapas restaurant with 200,000 people residents, the highest restaurant in town. However, Three Spoons Market have been in trouble with their inventory management where they runs out some item while others go bad. So they ask consultant to help in solving the problem. Related theory: ABC analysis, work in process inventory, finished good inventory. Question 1. What are the advantages and disadvantages of having an ABC inventory plan at the restaurant? ABC inventory management is an inventory management method that based on putting products into categories in order of importance, with A being the most valuable products, B moderate, and C being the least valuable. An ABC inventory analysis assumes that not all items are equal in value and that greater attention should be directed to the most popular ones. Doing an ABC analysis could increase inventory optimization, improve inventory forecasting, inform supplier negotiations, strategic resource allocation, reduce storage expenses, better customer service, better product life cycle management, control over high-cost items, and simplified supply chain management. Firstly, increase inventory optimization. The analysis identifies the products that are in demand. A company can then use its space to adequately stock those goods and maintain lower stock levels for Class B or C items. Improve inventory forecasting. Monitoring and collecting data about products that have high customer demand can increase the accuracy of sales forecasting. Managers can use this information to set inventory levels and prices to increase overall revenue for the company. Next, inform supplier negotiation. Since company earns 70% to 80% of their revenue on Class A items, it makes sense to negotiate better terms with suppliers for those items. If the supplier will not agree to lower costs, they could try other alternatives such as negotiating post-purchase services, down payment reduction, free shipping, or other cost saving that beneficial for the restaurant. Next, strategy and resource allocation. ABC analysis is a way to continuously evaluate resource allocation to ensure that Class A items align with customer demand. When demand lowers, reclassify the item to make better use of personnel, time, and space for the new Class A products. This also applies to reduce storage expenses by carrying the correct proportion of stock based on A, B, or C classes so that reduce the inventory carrying costs that come with holding excess inventory. Next, better customer service. Service level depend on many factors like quantity sold, item cost, and profit margins. Once determine the most profitable items, possibly could offer higher service level for those items. Next, better product life cycle management. Insight into where a product is in its life cycle, launch, growth, maturity, or decline are critical for forecasting demand and stocking inventory levels appropriately. Next, control over high-cost items. Class A inventory is closely tied to a company's success. Prioritize monitoring demand and maintaining healthy stock levels so there's always enough of the key product on hand. Lastly, simplify supply chain management. Use an ABC analysis of inventory data to determine if it's time to consolidate supplier or shift to a single source to reduce carrying costs and simplify operations. However, there are also drawbacks or disadvantages, which are limited pattern consideration, value blindness, undersupply or oversupply issues, loss risk, mandatory standardization, business limitations, and high resource consumption. Firstly, limited pattern consideration. The standard ABC method will not account for factors like new product introduction or product seasonality. For example, a new product may have low sales volume because it has no buying history. ABC analysis has a somewhat static perspective on demand and will generate inventory inefficiencies whenever demand is shifting or unclear. Next, value blindness. ABC analysis consider product importance based on revenue or frequency of use, but sometimes may not hold to this paradigm. For example, a retail display item may rarely sell but may attract a lot of customers who will buy other products based on its novelty. Other examples, in aerospace, a specific part for a plane may not be used often and have little market value, but it may be a fundamental safety function. Next, undersupply or oversupply issue. ABC analysis looks at dollar-based values rather than the volume that cycles through inventory. So there is a risk of running out of Class B or C items and vice versa. Next, low risk. Just because B and C items do not have high value as Class A products does not mean they are not valuable. One of the limitations of ABC analysis is that excess stocks are always in risk of obsolescence and damage. Therefore, the inventory that habitually goes uncounted or unmonitored may be subject to theft. Next, mandatory standardization. The ABC method is only successful if every item is subject to the standardization of materials, which include how they are named, stored, and inconsistently rated and monitored. Next, business limitations. ABC analysis is not useful for companies that have an equable annual consumption value of inventory items by type. For instance, a company that sells the same version of an item like candy, nails, or socks may not be able to sort stock based on the Pareto principle. Lastly, high resource consumption. Companies with significant number of inventory items will have to hire additional staff or buy special equipment to control inventory using ABC categorization. This will add the labor cost or additional asset for special equipment.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. My name is Lina Tusaskita binti Nurizam. My matrix number is 2106760296 and today I'm going to present
Case study for inventory management. Question 2. What items would you classify in each category? Condiments occur for less than 0.5% of total cost, so it's under category C. Spice and dried fruits with 50 different spice and fruits mounted less than 5% of cost, and they come under category C. All shelf life is 1 month and they come with 10 different oils with 10% to 50% of the total cost. More important is they are essential for daily use. That's why they are under category B. Fresh vegetables and herbs have a shelf life of 2 days to 1 week where it must be delivered twice for every week. And 10% to 70% cost is mostly from them, so they come under category A. Fresh fruit have 2 days to 4 days of shelf life and they are distributed 2 times per week. They total 10% of total cost. It comes under category C. Meats was distributed twice a week and has 2 days to 4 days of shelf life. They have 60% of total cost and comes under category A. And lastly, dairy have 1 week of shelf life and delivered 3 times per week. Dairy amount to 5% of food cost and comes under category C.
Question number 3. Are stockouts acceptable in this type of business? Why or why not? In comparing the extremes of running out of stock and holding more inventory than you need, stockouts are definitely worse. This means that with no inventory of a certain item, production has to be stopped or a customer order will not be fulfilled. This risking for losing them and losing them to competitors. An optimized supply chain will help supply the customer with what they want when they want it and prevent stockout situation. Carrying extra inventory in retail storage area or in a nearby distribution center helps keep shelves fully stocked during period of peak customer demand and is one of key benefit of holding stock. If an item is not available for a customer order, then 4 possible effects that can occur, which is customer agrees to wait for the item, customer orders the item, customer cancels the order, and customer cancels the order and is no longer a customer. Firstly, customer agrees to wait for the item. If the item is vital to the customer, then they may be prepared to wait. Despite the goodwill of the customer, there may be significant damage to the customer's satisfaction level. Next, customer back orders the item. Not as ideal as when the customer agrees to wait for the order to be complete, but the order is still being fulfilled. This will mean that we'll incur some cost due to the stock out. Nevertheless, the customer satisfaction level will significantly reduce. Next, customer cancels the order. If the customer is able to obtain the item from another restaurant or does not need the item immediately, then the customer can cancel the order. It is still possible that the customer will order from the restaurant in the future, but their customer satisfaction level has been damaged. In marketing, any negative post that may have been made on social media. There is also the cost involved in slow-moving or unusable inventory cost money, not just due to its purchase price, but also in inventory carrying costs. Lastly, customer cancels the order and is no longer a customer. This is the worst case scenario of a stockout. Losing a customer to a stockout is the worst outcome and comes with it the highest cost to the restaurant. By a customer no longer placing any order with a restaurant, every order is a cost that has to be considered. If a customer was a major purchaser, then the cost could be severe and put the restaurant in financial difficulty. There is also the cost of trying to find new customers to replace the order that would have been placed.
Question 4. Would the creation of work in process or finished goods inventory be beneficial to the owner? Why or why not? Why? Because creation of more work in process inventory would be beneficial to the owner. This is because based on the demand pattern and being the highest restaurant in town, Tree's Foods Market has to deal with uncertain demand cycles and the demand can increase suddenly, leading to more work in process inventory to keep at the restaurant. Moreover, since the restaurant specializes in serving customized dishes to its customer, hence more work in process inventory would serve the restaurant purpose and help it grow as well as to fill the customer demand in future if more work in process inventory is kept. Why not? Because to control inventory turnover, you must first track the level of stocks in the warehouse during the reporting period. Second, set the exact tracking period, may be related to the shelf life of stocks. And lastly, monitor the sales value, constantly compare with the sales forecast and make appropriate adjustment. Otherwise, the product will deteriorate or stand on the shelf. Work in process requires storage space, represent bound capital not available for investment, and carries an inherent risk of error expiration of shelf life of the products. That's all from me and Group 1. Thank you.